So good morning friends, welcome to Raj Malhotra IAS. So guys, here we are about to start. So the PDF for today's session has already been uploaded on our Telegram group. You can download the PDF from there. So PDF already uploaded है, आप PDF जाके download कर सकते हैं. And here we are about to start. जल्दी से जल्दी इस सेशन की शुरुआत होगी अब. Mohit, Rohit, Nandini, good morning everyone. Chaliye, let's start this session without wasting much time. Let's see what exactly is there for us in today's newspaper. So as you can see on the screen, it is always seem impossible until done. This is what Nelson Mandela has said, that whatever task that we may be doing, okay, it will appear to be challenging because it is going to be difficult. Okay, so here you are preparing for UPSC preparation, and this exam is going to be difficult, and sometimes it will come in our mind that this is impossible, I may not be able to do it, this and that. But the point is this is there for everyone. It is not just only for you that who is facing this particular problem. I am saying that each and every aspirant who is there in this UPSC journey will have this particular thought in the mind that this exam is very difficult. Okay, but the point is this: your focus should be on your effort. As you keep on putting up effort, definitely you will be able to achieve. This is what the whole thing is about. So it will always appear to be impossible. हमेशा हमें लगेगा कि ये impossible है, it is very difficult, this and that. Okay, but somehow when you start doing it, you will find that things are doable. Okay, step by step in an incremental way आप अपने जो आपका टारगेट है उसके नजदीक पहुंचते जाएंगे. Okay, so this is how it is. You need to have this incremental approach. There should be continuous effort. So if you have continuous effort, then definitely you will be able to achieve your goal. There are some values aspects that are important, like persistence is required. Okay, so you have to have that persistence within you. Your effort should be persistent, no matter how difficult, how challenging is the situation is. One should not give up. There is no place for give up. You have to fight it out. That's the spirit that you carry while doing multiple tasks in your life, whether it is UPSC journey or any other task that you want to pick up. So this attitude is really very important, and I am telling you this thing. National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, okay, he has said one statement in the interviews. Okay, basically he was giving the speech. Now in that, Ajit Doval, he said that, like, what is the most difficult step? He said that the most difficult step is to make up your mind. Once you have make up your mind, then the only focus should be on the effort. So if it is there in your mind, if your heart is giving you this feeling that okay, yes, you can do it, and this is your dream, then definitely you should focus just on the effort, the inputs that you are going to put in, and that inputs that we are going to put in will be based on our wisdom. We cannot give up our wisdom. We cannot give up the smart way of operating. Okay, so you will be requiring the smart way, you will be requiring the wisdom. All those things are important. This is the most important point here. And if you have made up your mind, then definitely there should not be any second thought, and you can go ahead with your effort. This is the overall thought process which should be there in your mind. in an incremental way, one by one, picking up a subject and then having an expertise in that subject, then picking up next subject and then developing ability in that subject. In this way, you will move from one to other to third. That should be your focus area. That should be your strategy. This is the point that we have to keep in our mind. Okay. So let's look into this particular edit analysis. Now, Congress meltdown in Goa as 8 of the party's 11 MLAs defect to BJP. Okay. So here, this is the important point here. Now, Goa, like this is what is going on. So it has been seen that BJP is, you can say, targeting the opposition. Okay, so they are targeting the opposition, and this is one of the outcome of that. Okay, now the point is this: when we are talking about democracy, so it is important कि भी डेमोक्रेसी में तो ऑपोजिशन भी इंपॉर्टेंट होता है. वी कैन नॉट आउटराइटली रिजेक्ट द रोल प्लेड बाय द ऑपोजिशन हियर, क्योंकि ऑपोजिशन तो है जो आपकी जनता की आवाज उठाएगा. ऑपोजिशन तो है जो पिन पॉइंट करेगा कि वेयर गवर्नमेंट इज गेटिंग रॉन्ग, सरकार गलत कहाँ जा रही है. सो आई वुड लाइक टू टेल यू दिस थिंग. नाउ वी नो दैट मल्टीपल स्कैम्स हैपन ड्यूरिंग द यूपीए रेजिम. अब यूपीए के टाइम पे बहुत सारे स्कैम हुए थे. 2G स्कैम, कॉमनवेल्थ गेम स्कैम, कोल गेट स्कैम, एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा. So from where did we come to know that these scams had happened in the government? Opposition ने मुद्दा उठाया था. Okay, so at that point, like BJP was in opposition, BJP opposition में था, तो BJP ने मुद्दा उठाया था. So this is the importance of opposition. But here you can say the party is working to completely destroy it, and it is not good for the health of our democracy. हमारी democracy की health के लिए ये ठीक नहीं है. This is the point that we have to look into. Okay, so ये हमारे लिए जरूरी है. It is important for the voters. ये voters के लिए जरूरी है. That's the point here. Okay, that's the point here, and this is what we need to keep in our mind. Next time जब वोट देने जाओ तो ये जरूर सोच के जाना, like outrightly opposition खत्म करना is not in interest of ours. Okay, हमारे interest में ये नहीं है. So let's move to the next part. आगे चलते हैं. So here we have this news. Now Hindi is not a competitor of regional languages. This is what Amit Shah is saying. Now definitely the government is looking forward to promote Hindi as well. Okay, and this is being done under the constitutional provision. तो हमारे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में भी ये लिखा है कि हिंदी को प्रमोट करना है. ओके, दिस इज हाउ थिंग्स आर. नाउ दे टेक इट एज देयर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी टू प्रमोट हिंदी लैंग्वेज. बट व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट इंडिया एज अ होल, नाउ India is a diverse country. We have diverse languages in this country. Different languages are there. Okay, and the point is that we respect that diversity. Even the constitution has the provision to respect that diversity. आपके constitution में भी वो respect mentioned है. There are provisions related to that. Specifically, the rights of the linguistic minorities are protected. जो linguistic minorities हैं उनके rights protected हैं यहाँ पे. Okay. So this is the peculiar feature of India. Now, as I am saying that we are a diverse country, it means that single language formula will not work here. Okay. भाई सिंगल लैंग्वेज फॉर्मूला हमारे यहाँ पे काम नहीं करेगा. दैट्स द रियलिटी. दिस इज वन पॉइंट हियर, बिकॉज लाइक रीजनल लैंग्वेज और योर मदर टंग इज वेरी नियर टू योर हार्ट. वट एवर इज योर मदर टंग, जो भी आपकी मदर टंग है आपके दिल के बहुत करीब होती है. सो इफ इट इज पंजाबी, डेफिनेटली यू विल हैव बेटर अंडरस्टैंडिंग इन पंजाबी. तो आपको अच्छे से पंजाबी में ज्यादा बात समझ में आएगी. इफ इट्स हिंदी फॉर यू, सो यू विल अंडरस्टैंड थिंग्स इन हिंदी. मीन्स योर रिसेप्टिविटी विल बी मोर इन हिंदी. आप अच्छे से चीजों को अपने दिमाग में डाल पाओगे. दैट्स द मेन फोकस हियर. नाउ हियर, लाइक Amit Shah is saying that we are not imposing Hindi on anyone. Okay, we are not imposing Hindi on anyone. That's the focus here. And then he says that we just want a common link or common language. Okay, हम एक common language चाहते हैं, so that people of the south they can interact with the north, and people of the east they can interact with the west, north can interact with the east, etc etc etc. This is what he wanted to have. Now we don't have any problem in these type of ideas. देखो हमें कोई problem नहीं है if it is to be done in an organic way. अगर ये organic way में चलता रहे, that you are not imposing any, you can say, language on anyone. If it is their will, अपनी इच्छा से कोई अगर multiple languages सीखना चाहता है तो it should be left up to them. उन तक ये छोड़ देना चाहिए, whether they want to use English as a common language और हिंदी as a common language. बात सिर्फ यहाँ पे communication की है. तो कैसे भी करके communication facilitate होना चाहिए. जबरदस्ती imposition नहीं होना चाहिए. Okay, this is how things are, and whenever we try to impose something there will be repulsion from the other side. जब भी हम कोई चीज impose करने की कोशिश करेंगे आप ये देखेंगे कि opposite side से उसके ऊपर repel वो करेगा ही करेगा. This is how the democratic setup is about. Okay, now apart from Hindi there are multiple other languages that are mentioned in your 8th schedule. तो 8th schedule में और भी बहुत languages हैं जो mentioned है. So you have Assamese, you have Bengali, you have Gujarati, Hindi, Kannada is there, Kashmiri, Konkani, Malayalam, Manipuri, Marathi, Nepali, Odia, Punjabi, Sanskrit, Sindhi, Tamil, Telugu, Urdu, Bodo, Santhali, Maithili, Dogri. Okay. So these languages are mentioned in your 8th schedule. Now I am giving this homework to you. This is your homework. Do comment it in the comment section. Okay. You have to tell me what were the last 3 languages that were added to the schedule 8. आखिरी 3 कौन सी थी जो शेड्यूल 8 के अंदर आई हैं. ओके, what were the name of last 3 languages that were added to the schedule 8? This is the homework that I am leaving up to you. Okay, you have to comment it in the comment section. आप बिल्कुल इस comment section में mention कर सकते हो. Normally UPSC has not asked which language is there in the 8th schedule or not, but specifically if you are preparing for non UPSC exam, civil services के अलावा भी आप कुछ अगर prepare कर रहे हैं, so then definitely you need to know about all of them. ये सब के बारे में आपको list पूरी मालूम होनी चाहिए कि कौन सी language जो है वो आपके schedule 8 में mentioned है, because you can say out of the way they can ask these type of questions. तो वो जरूर आपसे इस टाइप के क्वेश्चन वो पूछ सकते हैं. ठीक है जी. सो इन दिस वे वी हैव टू कैरी आउट आवर प्रिपरेशन. ठीक है, सारी प्रिपरेशन इस तरीके से करनी होगी. नाउ लेट्स मूव टू द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट हियर. नेक्स्ट पॉइंट इज रिगार्डिंग दिस. नाउ कैडेट्स बैक एट जम्मू एंड कश्मीर लेक आफ्टर 33 years. ओके, सो नाउ एनसीसी कैडेट्स दे आर कैरिंग आउट देयर ड्रिल्स. ये अपनी ड्रिल्स कर रहे हैं आप लेक के अंदर. सम ऑफ देम आर फ्रॉम जम्मू एंड कश्मीर इटसेल्फ एंड अदर्स आर फ्रॉम आउटसाइड. So 100 of NCC cadets they are participating here, and earlier this is happening after 33 years because it has been banned because of militancy. Militancy की वजह से इसको बैन कर दिया गया था. Now like these things have been restored. Okay, so it's a good development. It's a good sign that things may go for the normalcy. चीजें नॉर्मल होने वाली हैं, हो सकती हैं. दिस इज द पॉजिटिव साइन एंड गवर्नमेंट इज ट्राइंग देयर लेवल बेस्ट. दिस इज द ओवरऑल लॉजिक दैट वी हैव हियर. ओके, other than that here we have this cabinet approves addition of 4 tribes to the ST list. So here we have the complete list here. Okay, so number of tribes that have been you can say added to the ST list. So here we need to know them. Now suppose UPSC wants to have a question. So the question can be framed in the way of match the following. Okay, match the following in the sense here at one point it will be written states and on the other side it will be written tribes. Okay, so they will ask which of them are correctly matched or you have to match them out. कौन से correctly matched हैं और या फिर वो आपसे पूछेंगे कि इनमें से आपको correctly match करने हैं. Okay, so in this way UPSC will ask a tricky question to you. Now these particular tribes are in news, so you need to prepare for that. Okay, so here we have Hatti tribe like basically in Himachal. It is there from Himachal Pradesh. Okay, now the point here is this has been in news. So if you are preparing for Himachal Pradesh administrative services, you need to know about it. आपको इसके बारे में मालूम होना चाहिए. ठीक है ना. अगर आप हिमाचल प्रदेश सिविल सर्विसेज को प्रिपेयर कर रहे हैं तो हट्टी ट्राइब के बारे में पूरी डिटेलिंग आपको मालूम होनी चाहिए, बिकॉज नाउ इट्स एन इंपॉर्टेंट एरिया वेयर यूपीएससी में आस्क अ क्वेश्चन. अब न्यूज में आ गया तो सवाल वो पूछ सकते हैं आपसे. ठीक है जी. सो आप अपनी प्रिपरेशन करेंगे एंड यू नीड टू कीप इट इन योर माइंड. ओके, इसके बारे में जरूर आप कुछ ना कुछ कंटेंट अपने एंड पे डालेंगे. सो हियर आई एम नॉट प्रोवाइडिंग एनीथिंग बट हियर यू हैव टू कीप इट इन योर माइंड. So basically there are other tribes like Narikovaran and Kurivikran. So these tribes are from Tamil Nadu and you have to read about them as well. Then you have Binjia tribe in Chhattisgarh. Okay, so these were added in the ST list. ये ST list में add किया था. And Binjia tribe, it is not just confined to Chhattisgarh. It is also found in Jharkhand and Odisha. Okay, this is the overall detail that we have. And other point is this: cabinet has also approved a proposal to bring Gond community residing in 13 districts of UP under the ST list from the scheduled caste list. This is the additional change that is also to be facilitated. Okay, तो ये आपकी ST list से हटा के SC लिस्ट से हटा के आप ST लिस्ट में डाल रहे हो. ओके, SC लिस्ट से हटा के it is to be added in the ST list. This is other development that we need to know here. ये अलग development है जो हमें अपने दिमाग में रखनी है. ठीक है जी. So these are the things that are there related to this. Now in UPSC prelims 2019, UPSC did ask a question on particularly vulnerable tribal groups. अब देखो जरूरी नहीं है ये ट्राइबल पे भी आए या पर्टिकुलर वल्नरेबल पे आए, बट getting information or preparing your tribals, specifically the tribes which are in news, ये important हो जाता है. Okay, it becomes important for you, and this is what you have to keep it in your mind. आपको अपनी प्रिपरेशन के अंदर ये समझना पड़ेगा, बिकॉज इन द पास्ट क्वेश्चन हैड बीन आस्क्ड बाय द गवर्नमेंट. जरूर गवर्नमेंट मतलब यूपीएससी ने क्वेश्चन पूछा है आपसे, नॉट द गवर्नमेंट. यूपीएससी डिड आस्क अ क्वेश्चन, and it is important that we have to carry out our preparation accordingly. Okay, so those tribes that we covered here, you need to read about them. आपको उनके बारे में read out करना पड़ेगा. You have to read about the Gond tribe and the other these tribes. Okay, what were their customs? उनके कोई festivals हैं? How do they celebrate their festivals? What do they do in that festivals? Okay, इनके festivals कौन से होते हैं? उन festivals में what exactly do they do? What are the things that are there? Are there any terms associated with that? कोई terminology अगर कोई associated है तो वो आपको मालूम होना चाहिए. Okay, so in this way you will be preparing for these particular topics. आप अपनी preparation कुछ इस तरीके से करेंगे. ठीक है जी. This is the point that you need to keep in your mind. So let's move to the next news. Next directly we'll move to the editorial section. सीधा editorial section में चलते हैं and try to figure it out what exactly is there for us. Okay, so here we have this editorial. So it is saying that the future of the old times in India. Now you need to understand, as per 2011 census, okay, number of poor in this country were 9%. 9% of the Indian population were above 60. Okay, 60 से above 9% थी population. But the point here is this: by 2030, the number is going to be increasing and it will become 18%. Now, this is a really big responsibility. Having 18% of the population above 60, it means that this particular number, okay, this particular number, it will add burden to the government. सरकार के ऊपर burden बोलना सही नहीं है, burden is not a right means वो, but definitely government have to take care. Government have to take care of these 18% of the population. Now what can be done? क्या कर सकते हैं यहाँ पे? Okay, we already know that the government provides ओल्ड एज पेंशन. हमें ओल्ड एज पेंशन मिलती है, हमारे यहाँ पे इंडिया में प्रोविजन है. बट नाउ दे आर कमिंग आउट विद समथिंग, दे आर कमिंग अप विद समथिंग like different. They are saying that we need to have this universal arrangement. कहीं ना कहीं हमें एक universal arrangement चाहिए इस pension से related. Okay, because here different states they have their own arrangements, and this particular old age pension, it is varying across the states. हर स्टेट के अंदर पेंशन जो है वो अलग अलग है, and that's why you need to have a uniform system. Okay, so this is how things are. So it is quite clear that elderly of this particular country, they need public support. And in India, life expectancy has increased significantly. Okay, the direct linkage to this is that the number of dependents is also going to increase. Okay, number of dependents कहीं ना कहीं वो increase होने वाला है, and this is how things are going to be. Okay, so we do have to take care of all these things. Now, as I told you about this particular fact, that close to like 9% of the population in India, they were above 60 in 2011, and it is going to be 18% by 2036. So it was not 2030, rather it was 2036. That number is going to be 18%. It means that it is going to add burden to you, burden to our government, burden in the sense that government has to take care of them. Okay, this is how things are going to be. And other than that, if you see now, like, you have to make sure that they do have a quality life. You have to prepare for their future. You have to plan things out. Okay, what will be your budget, how much budget you will keep for them, and etc etc etc. This is what you need to prepare here. Then, like, 30 to 50% are those who have the symptoms of depression. This is also the new problems that are added. Okay, these are the new problems that are added to the system. Okay, so 30 to 50% of the population, means of the old age population in this country, they have these symptoms of depression, and you have to deal with that. And we already know that how nuclear families are there. Okay, so these days सब अकेले हैं यहाँ पे. Okay, nuclear family बनती जा रही हैं due to multiple reasons. We cannot avoid it. The lifestyle is like this, the employment system is like this कि nuclear families हैं, बच्चे कहीं और काम करते हैं किसी और city में, parents are there in some other city. This is how things are. Okay, the point here is that the symptoms related to depression is higher for women than men. Okay, so ये भी एक अलग problem है यहाँ पे. And here I am telling you this thing, above 60 widows, their life is more difficult. Okay, their life is more difficult without their husband. This is how things are. And the point here is this particular depression, it is directly linked to the poverty and poor health. Now it is important that government need to address these particular things. You have to eradicate poverty, and you have to address the requirement, health requirement, medical requirement of the people of above 60. So those who are above 60, you have to take an arrangement, you have to make an arrangement for their you can say health as well. These are the requirements at present. Now we have to do something. So already we are doing things related to we have schemes like National Social Assistance Program. Under this we are providing pension. Your government is providing pension, and this particular scheme is running. Now the point here is this, there is a variation in the sense that different states, okay, they have their own arrangement, so the amount will vary. And other point is this problem is related to the eligibility criteria, that primarily this National Social Assistance Program, it is restricted to the below poverty line families. Okay, so those who are below poverty line, it is restricted to them. Now why can't be it universal? Because the point here is this, you have to produce lot of documents. आपको बहुत सारे documents prepare करने पड़ेंगे. And other point is this, the assistance that will be coming from this union से जो assistance आएगी, that is stagnant. वो 200 per month ही आ रही है. Now it has to be increased. Okay, वो increase करना चाहिए. And I told you about this thing, many states they have already enhanced it. बहुत से states ने इसे enhance कर दिया. But we need to have a uniform arrangement here. काफी एक uniform arrangement की जरूरत है. Okay, this is the point here. Now other news that we will be dealing with is this, India's growing water crisis, the seen and the unseen. Okay, so here is the reality. This is the reality that the water crisis is growing in this country. The reasons are many. So industrialization is one of the reason, urbanization is one of the reason. Okay, we know that our agriculture, like we don't use technology, so no use of technology, we are still using the old methods. Okay, so as you are using old methods, so those methods are water intensive. वहाँ पे तो आप पानी पूरा का पूरा यूज कर लोगे, वाटर इंटेंसिव है हमारे यहाँ पे एग्रीकल्चर. ओके, सो ड्रिप इरिगेशन, स्प्रिंकल्स एंड ऑल दोज थिंग्स आर नॉट यूज्ड. सो ये सारी चीजें हैं जो लाइक दीज आर द रीजंस बिकॉज ऑफ विच वी आर नॉट एबल टू सेव वाटर. देन अदर पॉइंट इज दिस, इन दिस एडिटोरियल देयर इज वन इंटरेस्टिंग पॉइंट दैट इज मेंशन्ड. नाउ you need to understand, like groundwater, if we talk about groundwater. Okay, so in groundwater you cannot separate urban area from rural. ठीक है जी, आप अर्बन और रूरल को सेपरेट नहीं कर सकते. Why I am saying this? Because from at the bottom, okay, at the bottom your groundwater aquifers they are connected. ऐसा थोड़ी ना होगा कि गांव के लिए अलग से चैम्बर बना हुआ है और शहर के लिए अलग चैम्बर बना हुआ है. It's a nature's creation. Okay, so at the bottom if we see groundwater, it's a uniform thing. Now the point here is that in this editorial they are pointing about one thing, that it appears that water from rural pockets they are being used in urban areas, and that's the problematic part. कि भी पानी जो है आप रूरल पॉकेट से निकाल के अर्बन एरियाज के अंदर डाल रहे हो, और ये प्रॉब्लमेटिक है. ठीक है ना, ये एक प्रॉब्लमेटिक चीज है. Why it is problematic? Because it is not the right approach. Okay, that for few people you are taking away the share of others. This is what has been pointed out in this editorial. So let's take it up in detail. So here there are some debates related to this, and I told you about this thing, that rural urban water disputes are likely to occur as the scarcity is growing. Okay, already we have seen multiple examples. So in Maharashtra, like there was this divide specifically in Aurangabad districts. Okay, Aurangabad के अंदर ऐसा हुआ था. Now Aurangabad had a bottling plant. यहाँ पे जो है एक bottling plant है. Okay, The thing was that people were struggling for water, farmers were struggling for water, and this bottling plant was running. So it was said that water from rural area, it was diverted to the bottling plant, and this was a big problem here, and this is how in future as well this divide is going to exist. It is going to exist as a major divide. This is the point here. ये सबसे बड़ी समस्या है जो हमें यहाँ पे समझनी है. Okay, so there are multiple debates related to this, and global concerns are there regarding the availability of water. If you look into the per capita availability of water in India, per capita availability of water, अगर हम इंडिया के अंदर देखेंगे at one particular time it used to be 18 cubic meter. Okay, so now 1800 cubic centimeter, and now it has been gone down to 1150 cubic centimeters. Okay, so इतना ये कम हो गया है, ठीक है ना. So it has reduced significantly, काफी कम हो गया है, and it's a really sad state here. तो ये थोड़ा खराब चीज है जो हमें समझनी है. And the point here is this: Indian population is going to peak by 2050. Okay, Indian population peak कब करेगी? 2050 के अंदर. Peaking up of Indian population means आप तब you will be nearly 170 crore. Okay, just think about that. It means that the availability of water will further go down. हमारी availability of water तो और कम हो जाएगी. So this is how these are challenges that we have to deal with, and there are some, you can say, alarming situations that we have here. So it is said that over 2 billion people live in countries now experiencing high water stress. Okay, so they are already facing the shortage. So here we have some reports related to India, like global drought risk and water stress map. It shows that in India, particularly in the peninsular India, like there are areas which are water stressed. Okay, water scarcity is going on. Already the groundwater level has gone significantly down in states like Punjab and Haryana. Okay, because of the over exploitation. Then you have Niti Aayog's Composite Water Management Index. It says that situation is quite worst in India, and nearly 600 million people, they will face the acute water shortage. Okay, so 60 crore of people are expected to face the shortage of water in India. This is what has been pointed out by Niti Aayog Index. So these things are there in our mind. We have to prepare for all these things in future. You have to have the preparation. So here things are there in front of you. Now, urban population in India accounted for 34% of total population. Okay, this is as per the 2011 census, and it is said that in future we are going to further urbanize. So it is expected by 2030 India is going to be 40% urbanized, and in say 50% by 2050. This is what it is going to be. Okay, so urban population accounted for 50% of the total world population at the end of last century. So urbanization, the pace is really very fast. The pace of urbanization is really very fast. As the pace of urbanization is fast, it means that consumption of water is also going to be fast. Consumption जो है वो भी यहाँ पे fast होने वाला है. This is how the point is about. Okay, ये चीज हमें समझना पड़ेगा. ठीक है जी. So it is a story of every city. Every major city is facing this particular difficulty, and scarcity is growing. हमारे यहाँ पे scarcity grow हो ही रही है. आप इससे like you can find it anywhere. So there is an irony. देखिए कितना बड़ा paradox है. I am telling you this thing. So at one point you have Chennai floods. एक तरफ आपके यहाँ पे Chennai floods आते हैं. Okay. Just wait for 2-3 years. You will come across a news that Chennai is facing a water scarcity. You will find the same problem. Excess of water, and then there will be shortage of water. This type of system is there in India. Okay, so we have a peculiar and a different situation. हम अलग type के situation से deal कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे, and we have to address this. You have to make an arrangement for that. This is what it was about. Okay, so imagining an alternative scenario in Ayodhya. So they are saying that the solution to the temple dispute that happened, primarily it is because of the people. Okay, so you have to give credit to the people that they peacefully accepted this particular, you can say, development. Okay, आप बिल्कुल इस चीज का क्रेडिट लोगों को दोगे कि that they have accepted it. Otherwise, if society is not ready to accept it, you may come across a situation where implementation of that Supreme Court judgment would have been difficult. आप क्या कर लेते अगर Supreme Court के judgment का implementation ना हो पाता? Okay, so this is how things would have been, and we need to be thankful. We need to be thankful फॉर दीज डेवलपमेंट्स. बिल्कुल आपको एक शुक्रिया अदा करना पड़ेगा इसका. ओके, दिस इज व्हाट द पॉइंट इज अबाउट. ये चीज हमें जरूर अपने दिमाग में रखनी है. ठीक है जी. सो लेट्स मूव टू द नेक्स्ट पार्ट. आगे चलते हैं, देखते हैं और क्या खास है यहाँ पे. ओके, सो हियर वी आर मूविंग एंड next news is related to understanding the Ukraine's counter offensive. Okay, so yesterday, means 2-3 days back, there were multiple news coming saying that now Ukraine is gaining the territory which has been taken by the, you can say, Russians. Okay, तो यूक्रेन अपनी वो टेरिटरी वापस ले रहा है जो रशिया ने ले ली थी उनसे. Now this is a significant development. Okay, why I am saying this is a significant development, because it shows that the war is not going to be over. Other point that we are getting here, now Ukrainians are offensive. Ukrainians are offensive and their target is not just to regain the territory that Russians had taken in the present war. सिर्फ वहीं तक कन्फाइन नहीं है. Ukrainians are saying that they will take back Crimea as well. This is the new development. Okay, now Crimea was annexed by Russians in 2014. 2014 में ये क्रीमिया को रशिया ने एनेक्स कर लिया था. And now they are vowing to take it back. So today Ukraine is targeting this particular island. This is the new development. ये नई development है. Okay, ये नई development है and this is how things are. So it's a new development. Definitely it is important. From our perspective, why it is important, why we are putting up, you can say, so much emphasis for us. Okay, now you have to understand one thing, like it has highlighted multiple things. One is the ability of Russia, and this war has dented Russia's image, okay, as a global power. Even Russians didn't expect that this war will prolong. So it is quite clear that Russia is not going to be accepted as a major power, or you can say it will not have that dominant role that it used to happen. Other point is this, now in this war Russians are getting closer to China. This closeness is going to be looked by everyone. Russia is getting closer to China और सब लोग इसको ध्यान से देखेंगे. Okay, this is the new development. This is the new development and we need to keep it in our mind. So Russia getting too dependent on China, too closer to China, it is not in India's interest. ये इंडिया के इंटरेस्ट में तो बिल्कुल भी नहीं है. ठीक है जी. This is one of the challenge that we have to deal with. So this is how things are right now. चीजें कुछ इस तरीके की हैं. And as I told you yesterday, so all this incident shows that शिकारी, okay, खुद शिकार हो गया. शिकारी खुद शिकार हो गया. ठीक है जी. They didn't anticipated this particular resilience by the Ukrainians. Now it's a message for other players as well. ये सिर्फ इनके लिए मैसेज नहीं है, ये बाकी प्लेयर्स के लिए भी एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट मैसेज है. Specifically those countries which are dealing with the adversaries, where adversaries are quite aggressive, okay, and there is a mismatch of military power. So the point is quite clear. Suppose take example of India and China. This is the message that we can get from that it all depends upon the will of the nation. If you have a will of the nation, then definitely they will be able to deal with any type of eventuality. हर टाइप की समस्या से आपका कंट्री डील कर सकता है अगर फाइट करने की विल हो. दिस इज व्हाट हैज बीन पोर्ट्रेड बाय द यूक्रेनियंस हियर. ओके, दिस इज द पॉइंट दैट वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड हियर. सो अदर देन दैट देयर इज नथिंग मच. सो विल मूव टू द नेक्स्ट पार्ट. सीधा आगे चलते हैं. नाउ EWS कोटा and affront to equal society. Okay, so now people are saying that why are we keeping out SC ST community, okay, from like outside the EWS category. देखिए इकोनॉमिकली वीकर तो SC ST भी हो सकते हैं. ठीक है जी. SC ST category people like communities, they can also be economically weaker, but why are we keeping them outside the 10% reservation? Now this is being debated. They are saying that you yourself is creating this divide. आप ये बिल्कुल ये डिवाइड क्रिएट कर रहे हो, दैट स्पेसिफिकली यू आर कीपिंग देम आउट and only the general population, general caste, they are included in this. So this is what has been pointed out here. Okay, so ये आज की डेट में डिबेट चल रही है. Already we need to know few things. So government brought in 103rd Constitution Amendment Act. Okay, and they amended the provisions related to reservation. They facilitated reservation based on the economic grounds. Okay, economic grounds पे reservation दिया है यहाँ पे. Now I am asking this question to you, like you have to tell me, this is the homework. Okay, so under 103rd Constitution Amendment Act, which particular articles of your constitution were amended? Which articles of the Indian Constitution were amended? Okay, तो आपको ये बताना पड़ेगा कि कौन से जो हैं वो अमेंड हुए थे यहाँ पे. ओके, एग्जैक्टली द नंबर, व्हाट वाज द आर्टिकल टर्म दैट वाज एडेड, इफ देयर वाज सम एडिशन टू द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, तो वो कौन सा आर्टिकल था जो ऐड हुआ था. यू हैव टू कम आउट विद दिस पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट. ओके, यू विल बी मेंशनिंग इट इन द कमेंट सेक्शन. So this is how things have been debated, and I told you about this thing that like SC/ST community and OBC community, they cannot claim, they cannot have reservation under 10% quota. So it means that you are segregating them, and this is now the point has been put up by the petitioner. They're saying that like government themselves is creating this scenario where divide is quite visible. Okay, so it is regarding a social categorization. तो ये तो सोशल कैटेगराइजेशन हो रही है यहाँ पे. ठीक है जी. सो दिस इज नाउ बीइंग डिबेटेड बाय द सुप्रीम कोर्ट ऑफ इंडिया. अब ये डिबेट चल रहा है. लेट्स वेट एंड वॉच हाउ थिंग्स विल टर्न अप. ओके, सो अदर देन दैट देयर इज नथिंग मच, कुछ खास नहीं है. नाउ नो स्पेसिफिक लॉ अगेंस्ट हेट स्पीच. दिस इज व्हाट इलेक्शन कमीशन इज पॉइंटिंग आउट. सो एट प्रेजेंट, you can say election commission, it takes some action under IPC और रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ पीपल एक्ट इज देयर. ओके, इलेक्शन कमीशन ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं कर सकता, मतलब केस भी अगर किसी अगेंस्ट फाइल करना है, सो दैट विल बी फाइल्ड अंडर दीज पर्टिकुलर अरेंजमेंट्स. सो एट प्रेजेंट यू हैव इंडियन पीनल कोड फॉर दैट, एंड यू हैव रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ पीपल एक्ट अंडर विच द केस मे बी रजिस्टर्ड. ओके, सो दिस अरेंजमेंट इज देयर एट प्रेजेंट. नाउ फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, व्हाई डू वी नीड अ स्पेसिफिक लॉ? Because law will be required to first of all define what is hate speech. Okay, आपको सबसे पहले तो डिफाइन करना पड़ेगा hate speech है क्या. Why this particular definition is important? Because if you don't have a definition, how will you recognize? आप recognize कैसे करोगे what is the matter related to the hate speech and what is not? Okay. Other point is this, like instead in the process of banning hate speech or controlling hate speech, it should not be like this that government ended up damaging the right to freedom of speech. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि आप हेट स्पीच को कंट्रोल करने लगो और आप जो है राइट टू फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच को डैमेज कर दो. इट शुड नॉट बी लाइक दैट. दिस थिंग शुड नॉट हैपन, एंड दिस इज व्हाट द ओवरऑल पॉइंट इज अबाउट. ओके, दिस इज व्हाट वी नीड टू कीप इन आवर माइंड. तो ये चीज हमें जरूर अपने दिमाग में यहाँ पे रखनी है. ठीक है जी. दिस इज व्हाट द सिनेरियो इज अबाउट. ओके, so we'll move to the next part. आगे चलते हैं. So India share concerns with US on F-16 refit. So I told you about this thing. It is part of their, you can say, deal that they signed, and means US will keep on doing that. Okay, तो US के अपने national interest हैं. They are guided by their own national interest, and this is how things work in the foreign relations. तो चीजें कुछ इस दिशा में ही आगे बढ़ती हैं. ठीक है जी. तो ये चीज हमें जरूर अपने दिमाग में रखनी है. तो ऐसा नहीं होगा कि इंडिया जो है, यूएस जो है आपकी बात मान लेगा. इट विल नॉट बी लाइक दैट. ओके, सो वी हैव टू बी रियलिस्टिक अबाउट इट, बट योर प्रायोरिटी इज योर ओन नेशनल इंटरेस्ट, एंड वी हैव द राइट टू रजिस्टर दिस पर्टिकुलर अनहैप्पीनेस रिगार्डिंग दीज डेवलपमेंट्स. So this is the point. Now one problem less on the border. So he was pointing about this particular disengagement that has taken place at PP15, patrolling point 15. And he's saying that okay, चलो एक जगह तो कम हुई problem. So still the issue is still prolonging because China is still active in other areas. बाकी areas में China अभी भी active है. ठीक है जी. This is what the point is about. And other point that we have to understand here is this. PM may hold bilateral talks with Putin and Raisi. Raisi के साथ जो है, he is a Iranian prime minister, and you will talk about oil investment. Okay, you will talk about how to use Chabahar port to its full capacity. Like with Putin and all, further talks will be there related to the war. War को लेके बात होगी कि कब बंद कर रहे हो पुतिन साहब, कब तक ये चलने वाला है. But at present it appears that it is not going to end soon. ओके आज की डेट में यही कह रहे हैं कि अभी जल्दी खत्म नहीं होगा, एंड देयर आर लॉट ऑफ चेंजेस दैट हैव टेकन प्लेस. चेंजिंग इन द सेंस नाउ रशियंस आर अपीयरिंग टू बी मोर अकोमोडेटिव. ओके रशियंस अब बात करना चाहते हैं. सो अर्लियर दे वर नॉट इंटरेस्टेड इन टॉक्स, बट राइट नाउ इट अपीयर्स दैट दे आर इंटरेस्टेड इन टॉक्स बिकॉज द डैमेज हैज ऑलरेडी बीन डन टू देम. ओके नुकसान वो बहुत उठा रहे हैं. मैनी ऑफ देयर सोल्जर्स दे हैव लॉस्ट देयर लाइफ. दिस इज हाउ थिंग्स आर. So SCO fights anti-West dictators club tag. Okay, so this is how things are. Now Shanghai Cooperation Organization, this is how this equation, this relation is tricky for India. Tricky in the sense, two dominant partners are China and Russia. Okay, and they see SCO as a balancer. Okay, SCO as a balancer to the वेस्ट इन द रीजन, कि भी सेंट्रल एशिया में वेस्ट के इन्फ्लुएंस को बैलेंस करने के लिए SCO हैज बीन फॉर्म्ड. नाउ दिस इज द डेवलपमेंट, बट इंडिया हैज this particular thing to balance it out, because at one point we are a member of Quad, other point we are a member of SCO. Now SCO is gaining the image as anti-west. Okay, ये anti-west है. When we talk about Quad, Quad is seen by China and Russia as Asian NATO. ओके जो रशिया और चाइना उसे एशियन नाटो की तरह देखते हैं, दैट दिस इज द डिजाइन ऑफ यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स एंड दिस एंड दैट. सो इन दिस इज हाउ लाइक वी आर इन अ ट्रिकी सिचुएशन एंड वी हैव टू बैलेंस इट आउट. सो ये हम जरूर यहाँ पे बैलेंस आउट कर रहे हैं. ठीक है जी, दिस इज द पॉइंट दैट इज देयर. ओके दिस इज द पॉइंट दैट इज देयर. Now apart from that there are other developments that are taking place which are really important. Okay, बाकी developments हैं जो हमें यहाँ पे ध्यान से देनी है, समझनी है. Now Xi Jinping is also visiting SCO, but before going ahead with this visit, he is going to visit Kazakhstan, and this particular visit has some new things that have been there in the region. Now Kazakhstan is very doubtful about assertive Russia. Okay, they are doubtful about assertive Russia. They are pointing that the way Putin is saying that USSR, you can say disintegration was a tragedy. Okay, तो जैसे पुतिन कहते हैं कि वो एक tragedy थी and it is like Russia will make an effort to regain its territorial influence, etc., etc., etc. So Kazakhstan is very, you can say, is not happy with the Russian invasion of Ukraine, because Kazakhstan do have border shared with Russia. आप देख सकते हैं बहुत बड़ा बॉर्डर है कजाकिस्तान का जो रशिया के साथ लगता है, एंड दे डू हैव सम सॉर्ट ऑफ बाउंड्री डिस्प्यूट्स एज वेल. सो थोड़ी बहुत बाउंड्री डिस्प्यूट्स भी इनकी हैं यहाँ पे. सो दिस इज द रीजन व्हाई दे आर वेरी स्केप्टिकल अबाउट द गोल्स एंड ऑब्जेक्टिव्स ऑफ रशियंस, दैट व्हाट एग्जैक्टली आर दे गोइंग टू डू. किसी को नहीं पता कि रशियंस आने वाले टाइम में क्या करने वाले. So they are bit skeptical about it, and this is how the overall scenario is. So Xi Jinping is going to visit Kazakhstan first, and then he will be going to the Samarkand. वो उसके बाद समरकंद जाएंगे इसको अटेंड करने के लिए. So at present this is how the debate is there. Like Xi Jinping will try to, you can say, tell these things to the leadership in Kazakhstan that don't worry, things are going to be fine. This is the new development that is taking place. Okay, तो ये हमें जरूर अपने दिमाग में रखना है. ठीक है जी. So yesterday I told you about this thing, peace process in peril after Armenia-Azerbaijan clash. Okay, so I told you about this thing yesterday, that this fight is there for the Nagorno-Karabakh region. Okay, Nagorno-Karabakh region के लिए ये fight हो रही है. Okay, so this is how you can say these countries are also offshoots of USSR. ये भी USSR के disintegration के बाद ही निकले हैं, and earlier they were having no dispute, but after they become an independent country, now they ended up as a dispute. Okay, इन्होंने dispute start कर दिया. So ये एक debate है. Yesterday I told you about this thing, that having new states, is it useful, is it important or not. So the point here is this: as you will have more number of state, there are chances that disputes will further increase. तो dispute होने के chances भी further increase हो जाते हैं. Okay, this is what the point is about. Putin had rejected Ukraine's peace deal. Now I told you about this thing earlier. Russians were saying that Ukraine should not be part of NATO. Okay, and Ukrainians were agreeing to that. तो Ukrainians उस चीज को लेके agree भी हो गए थे. ठीक है ना, कोई problem नहीं थी उनको. But at that time Russia was having the arrogance. ओके रशिया की ये एरोगेंस लग रही थी कि हाँ जी अब तो हम अपने हिसाब से चलेंगे एंड वी विल नॉट डू दिस एंड दैट, और ऐसा नहीं होगा. एंड पुतिन मेड अ स्टेटमेंट दैट यूक्रेनियंस आर लाइक नाजीज. ओके वहाँ पे नाजी गवर्नमेंट है, दिस एंड दैट एब्सर्ड स्टेटमेंट्स वर मेड बाय देम. सो दिस इज हाउ नाउ थिंग्स आर टर्निंग, चीज़ें थोड़ी बदल रही हैं यहाँ पे. ओके एंड दिस इज द ओवरऑल सिनेरियो. So Ukraine would have stayed out of NATO, there would have been no war. Ukraine was ready for that, but deliberately Russia initiated this war, and right now they wanted to talk. आज की डेट में रशिया बात करना चाहता है because Russia is at a you can say losing end. कहीं ना कहीं रशिया losing end पे है. This is how tide has turned. चीजें इस दिशा में आगे बदली हैं. ठीक है जी. So other than that there is nothing much. So wholesale index slowed to 11-month low at 12.4% in August. Now the point here is this: wholesale index might have gone down, but the monetary policy committee, okay, they take their decision based on the CPI, consumer price index के हिसाब से चलते हैं वो. Okay, and we have seen recently it is being projected that the CPI for the current month is going to be relatively higher. तो इस वाले महीने का CPI तो जो है वो ज़्यादा ही होने वाला है. ठीक है जी. This is what the point is about. ओके तो ये चीज़ हमें ज़रूर अपने दिमाग में रखनी है. तो ये दिस इज द न्यू डेवलपमेंट कि भी सीपीआई के हिसाब से टारगेट करता है आपका मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी कमेटी, डिसाइड करता है वेदर इंटरेस्ट रेट्स आर गोइंग टू इंक्रीज और नॉट. एंड फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर शी हैड मेड अ स्टेटमेंट कि भी आरबीआई गवर्नर थोड़ा सोच समझ के, ठीक है ना, इफ यू आर increasing the interest rate आप हर it will dent the growth rate. Okay, so as because the interest rate is increased by RBI, it means that it will impact the flow of money in the economy. Okay, आपकी इकोनॉमी में फ्लो ऑफ मनी जो है वो इम्पैक्ट होगा, एंड दिस इज अ प्रॉब्लमेटिक पार्ट. दिस इज अ प्रॉब्लमेटिक पार्ट. दिस इज द ओवरऑल थिंग. तो ये चीज़ हमें ध्यान रखनी है. ठीक है जी. सो अदर देन दैट लाइक देयर इज अनदर न्यूज़. Exports dipped to a 9-month low after growth slows. So major it is linked to the lack of demand, okay, specifically in the west. तो वेस्ट की वजह से ये हो रहा है. वजह क्या है? मीन्स दे आर नॉट द रीजन फॉर दैट. यूएस प्लस ईयू. सो प्राइमरीली इट इज यूरोपियन यूनियन बिकॉज ऑफ दिस यूक्रेन रशिया वॉर. ओके दिस इज हाउ लाइक दिस वॉर हैज इम्पैक्टेड these particular you can say economies. So this is the overall scenario. This is the overall scenario. So let me look into your comments. Okay, so Vicky Gautam Yadav, should they prepare health sector like Kerala? Yes, Kerala model is fine. Sir, we can transmit water from north to peninsular India by canal system. Okay, yes, already government is interested in river linkage project. देखिए सरकार already river linkage का project चला रही है. ओके सो रिवर लिंकेज पे ऑलरेडी काम चल रहा है. ठीक है ना. तो यू शुड बी नोइंग दिस. ओके इंटरलिंकिंग ऑफ द रिवर्स, बट इट हैज इट्स लॉट ऑफ डैमेज एंड इट इज गोइंग टू बी वेरी इंटेंसिव. बहुत पैसा लगेगा इसके अंदर, इतना आसान नहीं होगा.